grandfather came over from Norway on my dad's side. His name was Geert Myklebust Sorensen. Knowing that Sorensen was difficult to say and Myklebust you didn't want to say, changed his name from Geert Sorensen to George Sampson. Came over here and worked on the section on the railroad, and that's what he was an expert at. For many years I was confused by why he had a P in the name when he always spelled it with S-A-M-S-O-N. And as I got older I looked at it closer and I realized that the clerk in 1890 had just put it in because that's the way he'd always spelled it. And it was his writing, not my grandfather's.
My mother was a quieter person. She was more English, that she kept things to herself. For instance, she burned all her letters and things she had written. She wrote some poetry. She burned all that stuff. She didn't really want people reading that. I think I'm a little more outgoing than she, but she was also, people knew if Ruth Smith, that was my mother, if she had a job to do or she was on a committee, she always did it 100%. My dad, I think I'm a little bit more like his side of the family. He was kind to people. He was good at visiting and listening.
How I decided to ask her out, it was that Stan Kenton was playing at the Surf Ballroom the evening of Thanksgiving 1961. And I was home with my parents in Clarion, visiting and looking forward to a good meal and all that. And Gary Martin said, you know, Susie Smith is still a good dancer and she's in town, so there's a suggestion.
There were lots of guys you were friends with, but you never thought about dating. And even when I saw him at IOU, I didn't think about it.
So I called her up and she didn't hesitate too long because she said, yes, I guess I will.
If somebody would call and say, do you want to go to a dance when I'm home with nothing to do on Thanksgiving Eve? Of course I'd say yes.
So we were two pairs going to the Surf Ballroom.
Got in the car with them, and as we got out, you said, in a real cool way, would you like a cigarette? I thought that was so funny.
Oh, no.
And afterwards, when I asked you about it, you said, well, I didn't know. Maybe you smoke now or something, but you did. So it was like a really cool, cigarette.
I remember I said, you're really quiet when you dance, and he said, this dancing is serious business. We just had a good time with this other couple.
And then I think we just sort of visited and on the way home, and maybe a kiss goodnight. I
don't think so.
Maybe we shook hands. I don't think that either.
You offered me another cigarette.
I did not.
When we went out that night, we had a good time.
If people wanted to write an obituary, is that what would Ron say about what was important to him, and that is to maintain your family relationships, love, all those things, and have friends. You just can't live without friends.
Oh, I wish I would have said that. They'll say, she's never cared about friends. No wonder she doesn't have any.
I hope it was running to get that. You might be able to use that.